Hi everyone, I'm Amít, creator of City of Mist. Thank you for joining me for the second video about how to play City of Mist. If you haven't watched the first one, you can find the link in the comments, and that is about the basics. So what I'm going to talk about now is other factors affecting the power of your actions in City of Mist. So last time I explained that in order to calculate your power, for any action you're taking on City of Mist, you just count the power tags, and that's your starting power. But today I want to talk about two other things that affect your power. The first thing is weakness tags. Weakness tags are the opposite of power tags. If power tags add 1 to your power, weakness tags, when they're invoked, reduce 1 from your power. They take 1 off your power. Weakness tags can be invoked by either you or the MC. So the MC can say, now I'm invoking that weakness tag for you, and you can't do much about it. But the good side about weakness tags is that whenever you use a weakness tag, for every weakness tag you use in any role, no matter if it succeeded or failed, you gain 1 attention, which is like the XP of this game, and it builds. As it builds up, you will get more improvements. So this would be also your reason for invoking weakness tags if you want to get the attention. Um, so let's take the example for Declan Lestrange shooting the zombies from the last video. So Lestrange was shooting and he pulled off some stunts. So he used 2 power tags, a good shot and gunslinging stunts for a power of 2. However, if the MC invoked his weakness tags weapon jam, then Lestrange will actually come down to this action anyway, will come down to a power of 1. So when the player playing Lestrange would roll 2d6 and add their power, it would only be 1. So that's weakness tags. The other thing affecting your power are statuses. During the game, it's very likely and almost certain that you will get all kinds of statuses. Statuses are conditions with a tier. So you could get happy 3, or you could get chained 2, or you could get injured 4. And these statuses, when they're relevant for your action, add or detract from your power. So when you make a move and you're calculating your power, you also add the, the positive status with the highest tier, and you subtract the tier of the negative status with the highest tier. So basically the biggest negative and the biggest positives are thrown into the mix of calculating your power. So, for example, let's say Declan Lestrange was, was shooting these zombies, but and with all the tags that we mentioned so far, so including the weakness tag, it came down to a power of 1. But he also had position, a better position or advantageous position, and that's a status that he got. That as a status, he earned it earlier on. So let's say he got advantageous position 1. That would, since that's his highest positive status that applies to shooting the zombies, he would add it to the mix. Let's say now that he had another status, a negative status called debt, like he owed someone money, and that was debt 3. um, when Lestrange tries to shoot the zombies, death doesn't really apply. It doesn't bother him. It doesn't, help him shoot the zombies, not directly anyway. So this status is just completely ignored. However, if he had shoulder injury 1, something, let's say, relatively not too bad, so it has a tier of 1, that would be a negative status that could be applied reasonably to trying to shoot, unless he wasn't using that shoulder or that arm. But let's say that he was using it, or he was using both of his pistols. So that status would apply. The shoulder injury 1 would apply, and that would bring him down back to 1. So totaling the whole thing, it's 2 points for 2 power tags that he's using, 1 point less for the weakness tag, back to 1, Another point for his advantageous position, back to 2, and 1 point less for his shoulder injury. And we're totally ignoring debt because it's not really relevant. So after all this, Declan's power for this shot would be 1. So he's rolling 2d6 plus 1. And that's it. I just want to show you this little card. That's a status card. And that's really how you track statuses in the game. You put the tag here, for example, shoulder injury, and you circle the tier. And if you take more injuries on the same spectrum, you will bump up the tier gradually. So I have a whole video talking about status cards, which you can look at. But this is it. This is it. These are all the factors affecting your action in City of Mist. So in my next video, I'm going to talk about the moves and roughly describe their specifics. And see you there.